Today we will be discussing sharenting, what it is, the pros and cons of sharenting, and how it came to be. So, what is sharenting? Well, in simple terms, sharenting is the combination of sharing and parenting. You can think of it as an equation of share plus parenting equals sharenting. It refers to the practice of parents publicly sharing information about their children on social media. The Collins Dictionary defines it as the habitual use of social media to share news, images, and so forth of one's children. The key word here that I highlighted is habitual. This doesn't mean just once in a while they post their child, once a year, once a month, but the parents have made a habit out of posting their children. Why sharent? So one study suggests that sharenting is considered an act of online self-presentation, primarily driven by hedonism and mimicry desire. Hedonism is defined as the ethical theory that pleasure, in the sense of the satisfaction of desires, is the highest good and proper aim of human life. So the people that want to feel higher satisfaction of their desires in their life are more likely to sharent. Here I made a graph showing how common sharenting really is, because we live in a social media driven world where lots of us use social media to talk about our lives. You can see that over half of parents actually have reported that they had sharented in some way. And the 54%, the orange, is the parents that have not. Now, the real discussion to be had here is whether sharenting is a good thing or a bad thing. So, is sharenting a good thing? Sharenting has provided parents with opportunities to express themselves and provide new ways to provide for their families. In the past, people couldn't post a picture of their child to share it with their other family members or to make any kind of income. That wasn't a possibility, say, in the 1950s, but now we live in a time where that is relevant and real. And so it's kind of a new thing that we have to go forward in. And so some of these new opportunities include being able to have a creative outlet, establishing a voice. They can chronicle the life stories and advocate for particular parenting philosophies, build supportive communities, and pursue financial opportunities. So many people believe that sharenting is a good thing. Like I said in the last slide, they believe that they can show support in their community and they can describe their own parenting philosophies. And so one study was done in China, and they said that sharenting helped them define what mothering really was. They said that they discovered that sharenting helped them to reveal the more challenging aspects of motherhood, and that it's viewed as a form of resistance against the dominant motherhood ideology that imposes unrealistic expectations of perfection on all mothers. So they were able to show their kids how they parent and able to find a community in this sharenting lifestyle. Another way that sharenting kind of became a thing, and a positive thing at that, was that it helped people unite with families. Obviously, social media helps people connect with people from other places in the country where they can't see them every day. And so another study was actually done in Iran on how sharenting relates to children connectedness to the family. And this study found that sharenting also fulfills the parents' needs for self-realization, social approval, and self-expression, similar to how a lot of people use social media to have the same self-realization, social approval, and self-expression as well. Overall, the study actually found that parents develop their social and family relationships by disclosing their child's personal information. So family members that might not know some of this personal information about this niece or nephew or grandchild normally was then able to connect with this child in ways that they weren't before, and was able to have a more personal relationship with them where they wouldn't have been able to as much before this sharenting became a thing. So obviously there are some pros to sharenting, and some people believe that sharenting is a great way to be social and to promote their parenting lifestyles and to connect and learn more about parenting with other parents. But there are also some people who think that sharenting can be bad. And so now we will explore some studies and see if sharenting really is all good, if it's all bad, or if it's somewhere in between. So can sharenting be bad? Many studies actually claim that sharenting leads to the exploitation of children for profit. We discussed how it actually can lead to some financial opportunities for some families, and some families actually rely on this income. The question is whether they are then exploiting their children's privacy to gain this income. So one study actually found that sharenting frequently leads to the exploitation of children for profit-driven purposes, thereby increasing their vulnerability. And in this same article, they described women as supermoms. And these supermoms were the super joyful, selfless, in control, rarely stressed, perpetuated by society in which mothers are expected to do it all and to do it all alone. So this article was about these moms, and they're the ones that are more likely to do these sharenting practices to kind of show that they can be joyful and that their lives are quote unquote perfect and that they can do it all and have it all and be stress-free. But in reality, these moms are not super moms. Even though it sounds great, they discover that these women tend to have low self-esteem and they actually suffer emotionally. So not only do the parents not always prosper with sharenting, but the kids do as well. As I brought up before, there's the question of if the kids are becoming exploited. And there's the question of, can children actually really give consent? So many of the articles suggest that children don't always understand what sharenting requires of them. One article researching on if sharenting can bring happiness explained that children who do not realize the possible risk due to their age are abused by their primary caregivers. So this may mean that even if a child says that it is okay to be filmed, they might later on look back and not really understand what they had actually consented to. Well, this brings me to my final point, which is actually my stance on this topic of sharenting. So as I've pointed out, there are some good things socially for parents to connect with loved ones that live far away and to be able to connect with other parents and show them different ways of parenting. But I actually believe that sharenting is inherently bad. I believe it takes away a child autonomy, and autonomy is defined as the right or condition of self-government. And while I was researching, one of the articles said that sharenting can lead to ignoring the child's autonomy, which is exactly what I said. This feels like an example of authoritarian parenting, which is something I would like to avoid, kind of taking all of the views of the child and not listening to them, taking away their agency, you could say. And so another article stated, while satisfying important needs among parents, sharenting poses privacy risks to children and may interfere with children's autonomy in constructing their own online identity. So to me, this sounds like taking away the agency of another person for one's own pleasure. And this just seems very selfish. So I also have some personal experiences on this stance as well. So I found that some researches kind of backed up my own personal experience as well. Some of them said other studies also argue that sharenting can lead to strained parental-child relationships. One article found that sharenting can risk their children's long-term safety and parental relationships. I agree with this, as I did not like when my mom would post pictures of me without asking. She had an online business where she had to kind of post pictures of her kids, and I didn't always know what she was posting, and sometimes I would ask her not to post and she would post anyways, and that made me feel very uncomfortable. Another article said young children are more vulnerable and may not even be aware of the posts about themselves. Therefore, parents do not seem to need any special permission from their children when sharing their children's photos or videos. So I know that I never liked when my mom would kind of do these sharenting tactics on myself. And I believe that sharenting is not something that we should keep going on in the future. And we should let the kids have more of a say in what their parents are posting about them. And this is my works cited. Thank you.